Hey, Flames friends. We're doing lesson 30, session 2 on page 681. We're now going to start understanding how we compare shapes, what more strategies that you can look for, and more characteristics within those shapes to compare and categorize them into groups. So for number 1, it says model it, sort shapes. You're going to use the problems below use the shapes below for problems 1 and 2. I'm not going to draw these out just to save room on my page, but you can see it says A, B, C, D, E, and F. So try to use that when you follow along for where I put these shapes. Number 1, look at the sides and angles of the shapes to sort them into the groups below. Write the letter of each shape in the correct column. Some shapes may belong in both. So that reminds me of a Venn diagram where they're either different or they're the same. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at, they have some right angles. That could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. Or some sides are the same length. Now again, as the book said, some can go into each category. Let's start with letter A for the triangle letter A. Letter A, I can tell right out of the gate, it has that corner of a square. So it has one right angle. So I'll put it in the first column, which is some right angles. Now, does it have any sides that are the same length? No. So I'm done with A. B, on the other hand, there are no right angles. There are no angles that go straight up, straight down. They're all pretty wide. They're farther. So, but if I were to measure this, and again, I have Mr. Flame's measuring tape, I can definitely tell that these sides are the same length as well as those and those. So it does have some sides the same length. So I would put B here. Now letter C. Here's letter C. It has a right angle. Yeah, so I'll put it there. It also has two sides that are the same length. So this one and that one that goes up and down like a column like the White House. Letter D. It also has two right corners. I can see that right out. And it also has some that are the same length. So I can tell that they both start here, but then they both stop at the same point. That means these two are the exact same. I don't even have to measure that. Now we're on to letter E. Oh gosh, there are two right angles. So that one is going to go here. It has two right angles. Now, are any the same size? No, they're not. So I'm not going to add it to here. Letter F. Letter F has no right angles, but it does have two sides, one up and one down, and one side to side, that are the exact same length. See that? So it is going to go here. And as you can tell, C and D are the same in both, but the other ones are different. Now, number 2, use your answer to problem number 1 to choose the shapes that belong in the group below. Well, what's the group below? Some right angles and some sides with the same length. So you're going to go through here and see, is A over here? No. Is C? Yes. Is D? Yes. Is E? No. So the only shapes that have some right angles and some sides that are the same length are are shapes C and D. They're not all triangles. Now, number 3 is on page 682, and you have these two triangles. Describe the sides and angles of each triangle below in as many ways as you can. So I want you to think about that. How would you describe A, and how would you describe B? Well, letter A has 1, 2, 3 sides. It also has 1, 2, 3 angles. Remember, the angles are where those sides connect. So it has 3 angles. It also has a right angle And it also has two sides. Some sides, and I'm just putting are the same length. I think that's a really good way to describe that triangle. Now, and actually it's two sides that are the same length. It's this one and this one. Now for letter B, I can also say this one has 1, 2, 3 sides. I can also say it has 3 angles. It has no right angles. And the sides are different lengths. So what they do have in common is that they're both triangles, they both have 3 sides, they both have 3 angles. And other than that, they're different. Number 4, how did sorting shapes in problems 1 and 2 on the previous page help you describe the triangles in problem 3 above? Well, an answer for number 4 would be something like, it helped me know what to look for. I know that I'm looking for shapes that all have the same number of sides. I know I'm looking for, so I'll write this down. So you should know that you're looking for the number of sides, number of angles, number of right angles, and the length of the sides. Because a square is going to have 4 equal sides, whereas a rectangle is only going to have 2 that match up on the tops and the bottom, and then 2 that are the same for the sides. So you need to pay attention to the lengths of the sides. So these are the things you're looking for a number of sides, number of angles, number of right angles, and length of all of those sides. Now, number 5, describe 2 groups that both triangles in problem 3 belong to. So what that's asking for is number 5, what do they have in common? So number 5 says, what do they have in common? I'll just write it up here. It's kind of hard. I ran out of room. Well, they both have 3 sides and 3 angles. So number 5, you're going to put 3 sides and 3 angles. That is what they have in common. The length of their sides is different. They both, one has a right angle and one does not. So what they do have in common is the fact that they both have 3 sides and 3 angles. Write this down if you need to before I erase it. Okay. All right, we are moving on now. We're going to do the green pages, which is just giving you that extra practice. So it says, study how the example shows comparing shapes by the number of right angles and the length of sides. Then solve problems 1 through 6. Use the shapes above to answer problems 1 and 2. So in that shaded box, you'll see a triangle, a square, a rectangle, a rhombus, a triangle, and another triangle. Now it says, which shapes have at least 1 right angle? Remember, a right angle is an angle that looks like the corner of a square. So this is a right angle right here. This has 4 right angles. It's a corner of a square. The square and rectangle have 4 right angles each. Triangle F has 1 right angle. So study those shapes really fast while I erase this. Okay, great. Sort the shapes above into the groups below. Write the letter of each shape in the correct column. So I'll do the A, S, and N from the previous pages. So all of them are the same, some and none, meaning they all have different lengths of sides. All right. So let's see, all sides the same length. Well, that would be letter A. Letter A definitely has all sides the same length. It's a perfect triangle. You can tell that it doesn't go very tall. So all sides are the same length. So I'm going to put A in under A. Letter B is a square. So that has 4 perfect sides. They're all the same length. So that also is going to go under all. Now letter C is a rectangle. Those don't have all sides the same length. It has some. So these 2 are the same and these 2 are the same. So that one's going to go under some. Leave a little room just in case there's some more. All right, letter D. D. All sides the same length. That is like, if you think about it, think of the square standing up, but then it's like tired. So it's like, so it's kind of just going off to the side. All right. That is all the same sides. So all the same sides are equal because think of it like a square and it's just like tired. So it's kind of leaning over, like when you're riding in your car seat because you're so sleepy. Now letter E, those all are different. So E is going to go in none or different. That would go in here, this third one. F is all different as well. So that would go into the different one. When you have a right angle, triangle, and something cuts across like that, just know right from the very get-go that all of those sides are going to be different lengths. So we saw that in another lesson, but I just wanted to let you know that those are all going to be different lengths of those sides when there's a right angle in that triangle. So just so you're aware. Okay. Do all the triangles, number 2, do all the triangles above have right angles? Explain. Well, they tell us the square and the rectangle have 4 right triangles, or excuse me, right angles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do all of the triangles above? So those are squares and rectangles. Let's look at the triangles. Does this one have a right angle? No. Does this one? No. Only triangle F has 1 right angle. So they tell us that too. Do all the triangles above have right angles? So number 2, you would write, this is number 1, this is number 2. No. Only triangle F has a right angle. The others do not. There's no chunk of the square corner that's missing out of those other ones. So only F does. Great. We're on the last page for this lesson. So page 684, there's a little bird house, a little tree birdhouse on that page. And you're going to use these 2 shapes to start for problems 3 through 5, and then we're going to go off of these down here. Describe the sides and angles of quadrilateral A in as many ways as you can. So that's what we were talking about, how you would sort those shapes. So for number 3, we're focusing just on quadrilateral A, which is a rectangle. So we're going to say it has 4 sides, 4 angles. Of those 4 angles, 4 are right angles. And then we'll say not all sides are the same length. 2 and 2 are the same. So those are the ways we would describe that. Now you're going to describe the sides and angles of quadrilateral B in as many ways as you can. So number 4, we have, again, 4 sides and 4 angles. 4 sides, 4 angles. In this one, you only have 2 right angles, and they're at the very bottom. It's like somebody took a square and then they shot the top up like that. So it has 2 right angles. And then it also has, if you take your ruler and you measure it, this is about 1 inch long and this is 1 inch long as well. So it has some sides that are the same. So you would also say not all sides are the same length. Now that was number 4. For problem 5, describe 2 groups both quadrilaterals belong to. Well, they both have 4 sides and 4 angles. So number 5 would be 4 sides, 4 angles. Not all sides the same. That is number 5. We're almost done. We're on page 684 still. We're just down at the bottom. And you have 2 shapes, A and B. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Feel free to pause the video if you need again. It's here for you. You can do what you need to make sure you're understanding. All right, I'm just going to erase the bottom half to do these next 2 problems since we're so close to being done. Write the name of 2 different groups that each shape below belongs to. So we have to come up with 2 ways to describe. How would you group this? You're going to give it a group. So A looks like that. So one group you could say is that it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And it has 4 angles. It also has sides not, oh, let's do this. Some sides are the same length. Guess, you could also say it has no right angles. And look at this. We put it into 4 groups because no right angles is one group. Some sides are the same length as another group. 4 angles, that's another group. The 4th group is 4 sides. So you only had to give 2, we gave 4. Now for letter B, the shape is a little bit interesting. It looks kind of like this. So how would you, what groups could you put this one in? You could say that it has more than 1 right angle. You notice it's all right angles. So it goes straight up and down. Here's part of a square, part of a square, part of a square, part of a square, part of a square. It actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right angles. It has, with that, 5 angles. They're all right angles though. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. And it has some sides, oh no. It's hard to tell without measuring it. I don't think they're the same length though. Curious about the little piece on top and the little piece on the end. So I'm gonna measure it super fast. It looks like it's about 1/2 inch on the top. And okay, let's see, and then over here. So they are different. They're all different sizes. So all different, and I'm just going to put lengths because then you know what I'm talking about. You could keep on all different lengths. Okay. So those, again, I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 different groups that could go into. The book is only asking for 2. So you're just giving it 2 different characteristics. These are characteristics, ways you could describe these shapes to somebody who doesn't know anything about shapes. So practice doing that on your baby brother or baby sister, or a pet or a parent, and see if you can describe those shapes. Those are their characteristics or their properties. Good job, guys.